Hi Taurus, I have decided to start to do weekly readings. I'm going to try it for this month of May and see how I get along with it, because the problem for me is time. Time is always against me, but I'm going to do my best to do these weekly readings through this month of May. If it works okay, then I will continue to do it, hopefully, for the rest of the year. If I do get time, I will also do a monthly reading for each sign, but it does depend on time. Now, it is for May 1st through to May 7th, okay? Now, the central issue we have here, the Emperor. The Emperor is the card for Aries, but it's also the card for Taurus, okay? And the Emperor talks about somebody that uses logic, that shows great strength, great willpower, and great rulership. So we can see you probably very much in your own element this upcoming week, okay? It may be something that you need to show some willpower. You may need to stand up to somebody and show some strength here, okay? Now, and the Emperor, is a major arcana. Now, what's crossing the Emperor? We do have here the Queen of Swords. Now, the Swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. It's not gender specific in these general readings. And it doesn't even have to always be one of those signs I've just mentioned. But the Queen of Swords, it can talk about, if we're talking about you now, okay, if this Queen of Swords is more representing your own energy, then it talks about the need for you to start to refocus your goals and your direction. But it can also talk about how you may need to be more assertive through this upcoming week. And you may need to weigh your options up in regards to something. You may very well need to take the energy of the Emperor this week in terms of, as I said, you know, using your strength and your willpower to help deal with someone or a particular situation. And it may require you this upcoming week to be more assertive. And you may, for some reason, find that a bit of a challenge. If we're not talking about you here, then like I said, it can be talking about how maybe there is a Queen of Swords energy that may in some way be challenging you through this upcoming week. The Queen of Swords can be quite bitchy. She can come across as being very cold-hearted. She can be very cutting with her words, very sarcastic. So you may find that you are dealing with somebody through this upcoming week that may, as I said, show some of these characteristics with the Queen. She can very much be a manipulator. And as I said, be very sarcastic and quite ruthless with her decisions. She has very much a direct approach, but more in terms of her communication, okay? The way she's communicating with you may be quite bitchy, quite cold, quite sarcastic, quite ruthless. Now, down here we do have the Page of Wands, okay? The Page of Wands, it can talk about new beginnings. The Wands is a very fiery and passionate nature. So it can be talking, and the Page is often a messenger. So it could be that you may very well be offered a change or a new beginning. Now, it could be in terms of a relationship, yes, but it could also be in terms work related, because the Wands is a very creative energy. And as I said, it's a very fiery energy, but also a very passionate energy. It could be something that maybe is offered to you that you may very well feel very passionate about. And it may very well be something that gets you excited, that you become very enthusiastic about. But like I said, it can talk about change and new beginnings. It can talk about new opportunities may being offered to you. It can as well talk about communication coming through, communication that may be passionate communication. The only thing you need to be careful of here is sometimes this Page of Wands, you need to be careful that he's going to deliver what he's talking about, because sometimes it can be that type of energy that there's all talk but no action. The Page as well, if we're talking about a person, it can be somebody that may be younger than you. We're talking more of a younger individual, okay? Again, it doesn't have to be gender specific. But it is possible that through this coming week, you may hear of an opportunity may get offered to you. Now, in your near past, we do have the Nine of Swords. I'm glad to see it's in the reverse, and the 9 also does talk about the ending of a particular cycle, okay? Reaching the end. You're almost at the 10, okay? The 9 of Swords, it talks about stressing and worrying and feeling anxious to the point that you can't sleep at night. Something's kept you awake at night, okay? As I said, it talks about worrying about something. It's in your near past, so it could have been last week, it could have been the week before, it could have been a couple of months ago. The fact is in the reverse, we see that this cycle is now coming to an end, okay? So through this upcoming week, if you have been stressing or worrying about something, or something's been playing heavily on your mind that may create some sleepless nights, we see that that cycle is now hopefully coming to an end. Now, up here we've got the 9 of Wands. It is reversed. The 9 of Wands, it can talk about feeling stressed, and it can talk about an element of pressure being felt. It can talk about how health-wise this week you may very well be feeling below par, okay? It may just be a cold, a virus, but if we're talking health situation, it can talk about that. But it can as well talk about how through this upcoming week, you may feel slightly on edge. You may be feeling very defensive. You may even be feeling slightly paranoid about someone or something. I feel for the majority of you, this is very much talking about this Queen of Swords energy. I think there's somebody in your environment, as I said, that is a bit of a manipulator and is, as I said, is very cutting with her words. And having the Emperor there, it may very well be that this coming week you are going to need to stand up to her or him, okay? As I said, it's not gender specific. But you may need to take on those qualities of the Emperor and stand up to this person. Because I feel for some reason this person is creating this type of energy in you. It's causing you to feel on edge or defensive. This card can also talk about not making any hasty judgments and not making any hasty assumptions. Like I said down here with this Page of Wands, if something is offered to you, then just make sure that it's not all talk. If there is some communication coming through, it may be quite fiery, quite passionate. But there are some thorns on this wand. And although this card is upright, which talks more, it's more positive. But like I said, there may very well be some thorns attached to this communication. Now, at the end of the week, we've got the Judgment card here, which is number 20 in the Major Arcana. And the Judgment card itself talks about conclusions. But again, this card can talk about not jumping to conclusions. It can talk about how you may very well jump to conclusions or somebody else may jump to conclusions in regards to you. But if you, for some reason, are feeling on edge and feeling slightly defensive or paranoid about someone or something, that in itself is going to impact on what you're thinking and may very well cause you to jump to some conclusions that may not be accurate. So you need to keep that in mind, okay? The Judgment card as well, when it's reversed, it can talk about the need to accept certain problems and the need to agree, kind of settle on a verdict here, because when this card is this way, it talks about somebody making that final judgment call, blowing the final whistle on something. When it's like this, it talks about that not taking place. It talks about the ending or the conclusion of something not coming about. The Judgment card talks about the final summing up. In the reverse, it talks about that not being done. It can as well talk about how you may feel an element of guilt about a particular situation that you may feel you've handled badly. There's something going on for you with this Queen of Swords energy. There's somebody, I don't think this Queen of Swords is talking about you. I think for the majority of you, it's talking about somebody in your environment. And when that Queen is reversed, as I said, it talks about somebody that can be quite ruthless, manipulative, and extremely cutting and sarcastic with her words. And it's creating this defensive energy in you. Maybe you feel you need to defend yourself against her. Or maybe her energy is just creating this on-edge defensive feeling in you. We've seen some element of sleepless nights or being in your own head with these crappy thoughts and horrible thoughts in connection with this situation. There, to me, a judgment call is needed, but for some reason it's not going to come at the end of this week, at the end of the coming week. You may very well, for some of you, if this is talking about a relationship, you may very well feel quite passionate. It may very well be a sexual relationship that you're having with this Queen of Swords. And that may be all it is, just passionate sex and nothing more. And it may be that this situation needs to be brought to an end, but for some reason we're not seeing a conclusion on it. Okay, Taurus, that does bring your weekly reading to an end. I do hope it resonates with somebody, okay? As I said, there's a conclusion that needs to be made here. A judgment call needs to be made in regards to someone or something next week. But we see a failure there of that happening. But look, thank you so much for liking, sharing and subscribing to my channel. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you've enjoyed this reading and I do hope it resonates with someone. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I'll see you again next week. Bye.